Hello there and welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing another one from the Erie Brewing Company out of Erie, Pennsylvania. This is their Mad Anthony APA. It's an American Pale Ale. I love the artwork on there. Anything with a skull is usually sure to catch my attention. Let's read the numbers on this beer. Beer Advocate gives it a 79, which is just okay, and that's with 231 ratings. Rate Beer gives it a 35 overall with a 16 for the style, and the Bros give it an 84, which is good. It has a 5.5% ABV, a year-round availability. The style, obviously, is an American Pale Ale. It says it right in the name. And it has 40 IBUs. Let's look at a quick description from Rate Beer. It says American Pale Ale, balanced malt and hop flavor, a great showcase of American hops. Pale Amber, William Crisp malts, Columbus Fuggles, and Northern Brewer hops, 12.8 degrees. And just like when I did the Derailed Black Cherry Ale, and I talked about it, it had like beer stories on there, and it told the story behind that beer. It has one on there about this beer, Mad Anthony's APA. It said that there was a general in the Revolutionary War named Anthony Wayne, and supposedly he was a brigadier general, and supposedly he had been shot several times, and they believe all the lead that got in his system from the bullets gave him lead poisoning, and it drove him mad. And he died in 1796 and was buried in Erie, Pennsylvania. And the story goes that his son was like pissed that he wasn't buried in the family plot, so he dug up, a few years later, he dug up the body, and he went riding away with it. And he was I guess didn't want to get caught or whatever. He was riding away really fast, and the bones were falling out, and so supposedly they're scattered all over the town. I don't know if there's any truth to the story, but I love a good story, and I thought that was pretty cool. So apparently they made this beer in honor of Brigadier General Mad Anthony Wayne. So go ahead and get this poured. Oh yeah, nice appearance for a pale ale. Not really any head on there. This is pretty cold. Just came out of the fridge. It's like 35, 40 degrees. Let's get an appearance on this. It is a nice, kind of very light copper color, kind of golden hue to it. Good amount of carbonation streaming up. Very tiny bubbles moving up slowly. But even I can see there is a good, well, let's say, good amount, but probably still like a moderate. I'm seeing a lot of bubbles, but it's not looking super carbonated. You can tell there's like no head there whatsoever. Just kind of a frothy ring. But yeah, it looks pretty good for a pale ale. So let's go ahead and get a nose on this. Oh wow, that smells like super fruity. Like the hops are definitely there, but I'm smelling like tropical fruit, like mango, pineapple. The hops are there, kind of floral, little bit of bitterness to the aroma, not much. The malts smell bready and sweet, maybe like a little toffee or something. But yeah, it smells super fruity. The hops smell pretty floral. It's like a bouquet. Yeah, man, that's really fruity smelling. And it actually smells pretty refreshing, pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. Well, it says 40 IBUs. I wouldn't take this for 40. Tastes like maybe 30. Not a lot of bitterness to it, but the flavor of the hops is very good. I can definitely taste the hops, but there's just not a lot of bitterness to them. But the hops are very floral. It tastes like it almost reminds me of, at the back of the palate, a little bit of bitterness is there with the floralness of the hops. It almost reminds me of like lavender or something. And then at the front, Very, very sweet fruitiness. Tastes like mango or passion fruit or something. The malts in the middle are sweet, bready. Again, like toffee, maybe a little bit of caramel, but you know, they're not overly sweet, but the flavors are definitely there. Um, like maybe like like I don't know, like a medium roasted malt or something. It's not like super deep or roasty in the caramel toffee flavors. It's just light, but it's there. It's definitely there. I'd say this beer is pretty well balanced. The flavors are all very mild. It's a very enjoyable beer. Um, you can enjoy the hops without like a ton of bitterness. Yeah, the floralness of the hops in the background is pretty prevalent on the palate, and it balances nice with the fruitiness at the front. Um, it's very the hops. It mentions Fuggles, Columbus Fuggles, and Northern Brewer hops. I mean, I'm not really big on like the names of hops and stuff, but as far as taste goes, it tastes like a really like East Coast hop. I mean, this tastes like like an East Coast pale ale or IPA would as far as the floralness goes. Again, it's very mild. It certainly doesn't taste like an IPA would, but just the floralness of the hops that's there. It's very East Coast. This is a really good beer. Like usually, I like an IPA or a pale ale. I wouldn't eat with food. Maybe like an IPA with like if you're having something that's really spicy or really heavily seasoned. But this I could picture having with almost anything. I mean, like a burger. Um, a burger. I could picture having this with seafood. I mean, this is a it's a really versatile beer. It's very mild, but it has a lot of flavor. It's pretty good. I like it. I mean, it's not amazing or anything, but I think they did a pretty good job. I think they did a pretty good job. And I gotta say, I do like this beer. I'm gonna give Mad Anthony's APA a 7 out of 10. That's average. That's a C. And this is a pretty good beer. I mean, it's not the best pale ale I've ever had by any means, but it is a little different. I like the way that fruitiness on the front is. It's a little more heavy in the aroma than it is in the flavor, but it's it's certainly enjoyable. I mean, this is a very tasty beer. I really like it. I would say if you see Mad Anthony's APA from the Erie Brewing Company, pick it up. Pick it up. It's a good beer. Even if you don't like really hoppy beers because of the bitterness, I think you'll like this beer. You know, this is one of those kind of transition beers if you want to get into the hoppier beers but you don't like the bitterness. This is a beer that can really let you appreciate the other, you know, besides the bitterness, the actual flavor of the hops, though. Because the floralness in the background is very nice. It balances with the fruitiness well, and the malts in the middle are it's like a nice it's a nice bridge between the two flavors. This is a good it's a very good beer. I like this again. I'm gonna give this. It's nothing amazing, but I think it's worthy of a C. If it's very mild. If the flavors were a little more pronounced, if it was a little more flavorful, it might be an 8 out of 10. But 7 out of 10 I think is a fair score for this. I like this beer. So thank you for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Prost.